Holy cow, huge news coming out of Korea today. Hyundai just revealed the 2025 Ioniq 5, which is getting a massive mid-cycle refresh for the new model year. And it's coming a lot sooner than we thought. So if you guys want to find out everything about the updated Ioniq 5, then stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's the Ioniq Guy. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. My name is Corbin. I cover all things Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, EV related. If you guys can't tell, I am very excited. And that's because Hyundai just revealed to the Korean market the mid-cycle refreshed Ioniq 5 for the new model year. I'm going to be sprinkling in a lot of video from Car Scene Korea. Great YouTuber. He covers all the new Hyundai, Kia cars being released over there. So he's always on the leading edge of getting these things caught on video because he's actually there on the ground in Korea. So check out his channel. I highly recommend it. You should definitely subscribe. There is so much to talk about, so let's not waste any time. So let's start with the biggest thing, and that is going to be the battery pack. For 2025, the long-range Ioniq 5 will be getting a 84 kilowatt hour battery pack versus the existing 77.4 kilowatt hours. This is going to be the same battery pack in the upcoming Ioniq 5N that's been on sale for several months now. And it's not physically a bigger battery pack, it's more energy dense, so they fit more energy into the same volume versus the existing battery pack. And if you figure that the Ioniq 5 averages about 3 to 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, that's going to mean an added range of about 20 to 25 miles, and that is always welcome. And with this bigger battery pack, the charging time stays exactly the same, 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes. So when I saw the news that it was going to be 84 kilowatt hours, I said, oh no, it's going to be probably 20 or 21 minutes to charge from 10 to 80%, but no, it's maintaining that 18-minute benchmark. Looking under the hood though, from this video from Car Scene Korea, I can see that the low conductivity coolant loop is now gone. So that 35,000 mile mandatory maintenance or flushing of the system is no longer going to be necessary, just like for the Ioniq 6 or the EV6. Neither of those cars have that low conductivity coolant loop. So nice to see that they've implemented that into the refresh. So the new Ioniq 5 has a shock absorber that helps to alleviate vibrations from the road, providing smoother driving experience. The rigidity of the cowl crossbar has also been increased to reduce vibrations in the steering wheel. Reinforcements at the rear wheel and lower part of the vehicle has been doubled, resulting in improved stability and agility. The stiffness of the vehicle body has been strengthened to reduce low-frequency booming noise, and motor noise control has been optimized. Additional sound insulation for the rear wheel motor enhances overall quietness. And yes, there is occasionally some motor whine coming from the rear motor, so added sound deadening is definitely welcome. So those are all the changes to the powertrain. Hyundai also revealed there's an entirely new trim for the Ioniq 5, and that is the N-line trim, similar to the GT line that the EV6 has had since it launched. And what the N-line trim is going to do is it's going to incorporate some of those sporty touches that we find in the Ioniq 5N and bring them down into the less powerful regular Ioniq 5. So this is going to be for somebody who doesn't want to spend as much money to get the N and still have some of those sporty touches in their car. So the N-line boasts a more aggressive, sporty front and rear design with unique bumpers, stylish side skirts, and a set of dedicated 20-inch aluminum wheels. The cabin also has an N-line exclusive design with a dedicated N-line steering wheel and dashboard, N-line exclusive metal pedals, a black headliner, sport seats with the N logo, red contrast stitching, and 2 seat covering options. So just looking at photos of it, you can really tell they incorporated some of those stylish design cues from the N. Assuming this car has normal seats, this might be the trim that I get for 2025. So now let's just talk about the overall nips and tucks taking place on the exterior bodywork of the car. So both the front end and the rear end both get some tweaks here. The lower air intake is also a gloss black now, and it doesn't have recesses where the little doors open up. So I think just overall it's a nicer look. We get Hyundai's new satin logos on the front and back of the car. The accent light bar that goes across the front grille, now instead of having one single LED line, each of those lines is now split up into double lines, so you get a different look to it in 2025. The rear spoiler has also been extended 50 millimeters or about 2 inches. And underneath that spoiler, you know it, it's got a rear windshield wiper. I know a lot of you will probably be trading in your cars just for that. It also does have the digital rear view mirror camera, and in the Korean spec, they also get a separate camera used just for their built-in dash cam, which I don't expect to come to the US market for cost savings purposes, but they have had it in the Korean spec Ioniq 5 for years now. Now also on the exterior of the car, because these are Korean spec models that we're taking a look at, They don't have the NACS charging port, so we still don't 100% know that it will be coming to the US market, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it is. Because of these new front and rear fascias, the car gains about 20 millimeters or an inch in overall length. The car also does have reinforced doors as well as reinforced B-pillars for added safety. They have made changes to the digital side view mirrors, but I'm not going to really talk about it because that's not coming to the US anytime soon due to our regulations. In the Korean market car, they are also getting adaptive LED headlights, which I don't know if we're going to get in the US, but that would be nice. The Ioniq 5 has been held back from getting a top Safety Pick Plus safety rating because of its headlights. It doesn't have the best headlights in the world. We're also getting new wheel designs here, and I particularly like this wheel design. It is pretty flat-sided, so it should lead to decent aerodynamics. And obviously with an EV, that's always welcome. So yeah, the exterior still looks very Ioniq 5. They haven't done anything too drastic there, just some nips and some tucks. And overall, I think the changes are effective. All right, so that's the exterior of the 2025 Ioniq 5. Let's talk about the interior, where some of the biggest changes and some of my biggest gripes with the car have been addressed. So let's start in the cargo area with one of my biggest gripes, and that is to fold down the rear seats, you had to go out to both sides of the car and pull a lever to drop the seats. You couldn't do it from the cargo area itself. Well, for 2025, they've introduced an electronically latched rear seat dropping mechanism. So 2 buttons in the trunk area, you can press left or right and it will drop the seats. Love that. It's not like a really fancy car where you can fold them back up from these buttons, but this is really welcome in my opinion. Heading to the front seats of the car, biggest changes you're going to find here. First off, all new steering wheel. So you're going to notice that the pixels in the center of the steering wheel now light up like they do in the Ioniq 6. So as you change drive modes, as you charge the car, as you activate the voice assistant, these lights are going to change accordingly. The steering wheel button controls have reversed. Now they are in family with the rest of Hyundai Kia products. The Ioniq 5 was kind of an outlier where it had cruise control on the right side of the steering wheel and media controls on the left side. So they're just bringing it in family with the rest of the lineup. The airbag cover now is a little bigger, it looks like, and it's no longer a 2-spoke design. It is now a 3-spoke steering wheel, which I'm not a big fan of. I really do like the 2-spoke design. You can get your hands down there at the bottom of the steering wheel and just rest them there. So I kind of wish they didn't add that 3rd spoke to the bottom, but it is what it is. Looking at the dashboard, you will see a black bezel where that white bezel in existing Ioniq 5s used to be. And in between that bezel is an all-new infotainment system. This is the CCNC software system, which is going to allow wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Hallelujah. And along with this CCNC software system, the car will now be capable of full over-the-air updates for things related to the drivetrain and the electronics of the car. So you're going to be taking this car to the dealer a lot less than you have with existing Ioniq 5s. They've done some tweaking to the buttons and the HVAC controls to make them a little bit more easy to use. Now moving down below the HVAC controls, you will find USB-C ports. Yay! And just like every other Hyundai, there's a button now where you can toggle that port from being power only or power and data if you want to use wired Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which I don't really see anybody using at this point. Now moving back from there to the center console, totally redesigned. The wireless charging mat is now front and center on top. You have 2 cup holders with a slot for putting another phone in vertically. And then right behind that, you have all your controls for heated, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, which is now a 2-level heated steering wheel versus the current Ioniq 5, which is only 1 level of heat. And then it looks like below all this, there is still that regular big storage area there if you want to drop a purse or a bigger bag or a 6-pack of beer or something. Oddly enough, in the Korean market, they've removed the drawer-style glove box in favor of the glove box we have here in North America, which is just basically a big gaping hole in the dashboard. And I really preferred that drawer type, so I don't know if that's just a cost-cutting measure, but they are switching to what we have currently. But it does look like they are playing around with the interior colors. So in this photo here, you can see you've got a light colored upper, a dark gray colored lower, and then for the most part, the dashboard is mostly a dark gray or black color. So I kind of like this 2-tone look. It's kind of the best of both worlds. Talking about the seats now, the 4 pixels located in the top of the front seats now look like they're actually little plastic beads that are like embossed into the seat. And then just like all the other Hyundais and Kias, on the passenger seat on the side of the seat back, there are buttons so you can push the seat forward and backwards and recline it. So if you're in the back seat on the passenger side and you need more legroom, unfortunately for 2025, the Ioniq 5 is adopting the Ioniq 6's key fob, which is that elliptical shaped key fob. It doesn't hold the physical key. all around, I just don't really like it. I really much prefer the existing Ioniq 5 key fob. Unfortunately, the cover for the front trunk still exists. They didn't change it to like the Ioniq 6 where the hood actually covers the front trunk with a gasket around it. So kind of bummed to see that. So there's also some new safety tech going on here, namely one called hands-on detection for the steering wheel. I don't know if that's going to change it from a torque-based steering wheel to maybe a capacitive type steering wheel, so it just senses your skin conductivity that it's on the wheel. You don't necessarily have to torque the wheel or turn it at all. Lane Keeping Assist 2 is here, which should improve upon an already pretty good lane keeping system. There's also Remote Smart Parking Assist 2, as well as Forward Side Reverse Parking Collision Avoidance Assist. This might be a camera-based system for sensing on the sides. So man, that is a lot of changes for 2025. And what's crazy is this snuck up right under our noses. The 2025 Ioniq 5 is going to begin going on sale in South Korea this month, which means it's probably going to be hitting US shores probably this summer. I was anticipating September, October, November, so I'm going to be trading in my Ioniq 5 much sooner than I was expecting. So holy cow, I was not planning on making this video tonight. I just happened to go onto YouTube and saw Car Scene Korea posted this video, and I was like, holy cow, this is awesome. So yeah, if you guys have been watching any of my videos for any amount of time, my big review videos, you've heard my complaints about the Ioniq 5 as it is today. And honestly, this really takes care of a lot of my complaints. So I am really looking forward to checking out this car in person. I hope that Hyundai will invite me to the press event for this car so I can bring all these details for the US market to you guys as soon as possible. Let me know down below if you own an Ioniq 5 or an EV6 or whatever. Are any of these changes compelling enough to get you to trade in your car right now for this car? Let me know. I'm very interested. So if you guys want to be kept in the loop about the US version of the 2025 Ioniq 5, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm going to be covering it in depth. If you guys need some cool accessories for your existing Ioniq 5, check out my store, ioniqguy.com. So as always, if you guys liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.